Some people say the positive thinking is a little bit like spraying perfume on poop. Technical term. Now, we all love positive thinking, but we have a couple of things to share with you tonight about how we look at it and how it can help you or how it could actually keep you stuck.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with what sort of sparked tonight's episode of the Trisbrina Show with Tristan and Sabrina, known as Trisbrina.
Hi, everybody, and welcome.
Last week we had the incredible gift of having some family members fly to Austin to visit us that we hadn't seen many of them since our wedding.
That's right.
And they actually had an Airbnb. There was 6 of them, plus my mom and dad and us, and it was so much fun.
It was cool.
And getting to spend time with aunts and uncles, four aunts and 2 uncles that have known me like since my birth, and for them to reflect back to me thoughts. And so this is so good.
Aww.
You can, if you really are thinking positively, you're going to feel positive. You're going to feel positive emotions. So as I was just saying what I was saying, my mind was seeing pictures of the family sitting around and laughing and singing. Those were the thoughts I was having, which provoked this feeling of gratitude and appreciation and acknowledgement. That is true positive thinking, when the thinking and the feeling line up. But back to my story. So one of my aunts, we call her Aunt Pug, she said something that really touched me. She told me she had seen some of our trainings,
Online videos.
our online
maybe
videos,
even the Trisbrina Show.
and thought that we seemed like a happy, positive couple, and wondered what it was like when the camera was off, as probably many people do, and maybe I do to other people. And she was sharing with me that she was feeling like this pure, positive energy from me, with appreciation, with consistency, and I think she even said, you always seem so positive, and that spending time around you and Tristan would inspire people and help a lot of people live better lives. And that meant so much to me, right? Like, coming from family, like a lot of strangers and students can maybe say things, but when someone you've known for your whole life is able to reflect back to you that you're doing good, it just meant the world to me. But I really thought about this statement about, for me in particular, I seem so positive all the time. And thank you guys for all your comments. Because I didn't, and I don't.
You don't think or feel positive.
Yeah, like this positivity, like the reason that I have studied what I've studied and practiced what I've studied, and I have this unquenchable thirst to learn and know and to be more good and more gratitude and to feel more positive, is because some tendencies that maybe I had, I don't know if they were genetic, I don't know why, right? But there has been anxiety, there has been looping, there has been depression, judgments, jealousy, self-consciousness, lots of limited beliefs, right? Hypnosis. So for someone to say I seem positive all the time, I thought about that, and I'm like, all the time. And that led to me like ranting for quite a while, which was just me processing things and saying, Tristan, I can only be, so I'm going to take that word positive and I'm going to shift it into, I can only shift my thoughts that might not be feeling good to better feeling thoughts, and shift my emotion that might not be feeling good to a better feeling place, and shift the way that I feel, so that combination of thoughts and feelings into an emotion. I can do that right now. Just right now. Just right now in the moment, I can take responsibility that it is my total in my control, that I do control what I think and I do control what I feel, and do everything I can to pull that towards more of a frequency and calibrate more to love, appreciation, expansion, but just right now. And then I can do it again right now. and then I can do it again right now. And then there's been enough right now that from the outside, it looks like all the time. But from the inside, it's like, oh no, just right now.
That's the power of one step at a time, one day at a time, moving and nudging our way into living the life we love. And being, that's the key word I want to unpack tonight. But I want to just reflect back to the story in the beginning about your family, because I haven't spent a lot of time with these beautiful ladies and uncles, aunties and uncles.
So 4 of my mom's sisters came, and 2 with their husbands.
It was really, really amazing. What I noticed is how we are affected by the people we spend time with or the people we grow up with. And so some of us have grown up around more volatile situation, maybe arguing, constant bickering, worrying, complaining. I had some of that growing up as a kid. And I think that it affects you. You take that in. Your young, fragile, impressionable mind and energy system is getting imprinted. And I saw such love and beauty and harmony between the sisters and the beautiful men, supportive, loving. And then I thought, wow, that's what you were exposed to as a child. So no wonder underneath all the different programs, that's what's embedded there. There's a pureness and a kindness.
Even though every single person there has been through a lot.
And that leads me to, you've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot in our lives. Underneath our programs are what's initially there. So even if we didn't have this really awesome childhood, we can go a layer back. We had an awesome original state. We all took a dip in the divine. And so we're talking about now remembering who we really are above and beyond the positive thinking layer. Because look, some of us are born into this life and we're taught to be happy, to think positively. We have.
Who's that?
There's some folks that they will say, my childhood was amazing.
Yeah.
I had great mom and great dad and I love my brothers and sisters. Now, a lot of people can't say that.
I can say that. And yet the world, the way that I interpreted the pressures of the world and school caused me to feel anxiety.
So I got both. I got the confusion of the parents fighting and getting divorced and being super scared going to school and completely shut down. I grew up shaking. I was super shy. So I don't know about you guys. Feel free to share if you want to what it was like for you. But irrespective, here's my point, of your program or what your environment was like when you were younger, you are not locked to that.
Yeah.
And laying positive thinking on top of it, those of us who've been in the personal development space for a while know that if we don't go before that and clean that other stuff up, it is like spraying perfume on something not so smelly.
It's like bad acting.
It's like this. I'll give you an example. Here's some bad acting. Wait, this is
Natalie. Hill's got his own summer.
Yeah, great for your aching muscles. I can do you a fantastic deal on one. Well, maybe. Have a great day.
Harry?
I don't know if you guys remember the movie Strictly Ballroom. I always loved that scene. She would have these moments of crisis. She was like freaking out. She'd go in the back room. She'd come, I'm going to put on my happy face. And she'd walk right out. That's spraying the perfume on top of the poo-poo.
Yeah, but better than not, right? Somebody
not.
poops, you say, put the fresh smell on there if you can. It's a good first step.
It's a good first step, but it doesn't last. And so those of us who get frustrated with the idea of, well, positive thinking, you need to be more positive, we know that that alone doesn't work because there's stuff underneath. And that's the only reason I brought up the childhood stuff. So whether you had an amazing childhood or you had a challenging childhood, there is something before that programming that we love, and that's why we talk about that a lot.
Yeah, we were interviewed on a summit the other day, and we had this great conversation that I'd like to bring up to you guys, and it was about the term mindset, because positivity could be viewed as a mindset. And I looked at that word and I said, set. That seems so
Set point.
fixed, a set point. And I related it to movement. And so, what would fixed movement be would be called balance. And then we thought about we're standing on a planet that's spinning around. And as it's spinning around the sun. What is balance? And what is balance? And growing up as a dancer, I know that when I stand on one foot, what if I stand on the ball of one foot? What if I stand on my toe shoe? And the audience goes, oh, she's so balanced. That balance is not set. That perceived balance is these little adjustments happening from the foot, from the ankle, from the hip, from the core, like incrementally in balance again and again and again and again and again and again and again on this planet that is spinning, right? So that's moving balance is true balance. So then as far as mindset goes, it's kind of the same thing. Like the mindset of perceiving something and looking at it from the positive aspects of what we can learn from it, how we can grow from it, what there is to appreciate from it, that's also moving. And just like the body is incrementally adjusting the whole time, I think the key to my success and being most of the time a very appreciating, open-hearted, expansing, loving person who is living in gratitude, which that's a huge thing to say. Probably the biggest accomplishment of my life for sure, is this moving set point of how I am perceiving the reality, of how I am feeling the reality. Just like I'm trying to balance on one foot, it's the same thing emotionally. What am I feeling? How can I shift that feeling? How can I appreciate more, move from judgment to this? Because as I shift the feeling and I shift the thought, the emotion shifts and I return more to who I am. Just like when you're falling, if you were standing on one leg and there's that moment as a dancer that there she blows, like it's the end of the balance. You can feel that emotionally too. You can feel when you're off. You can feel when you're off and that you need to reset. So this whole thing about, me reflecting back that, oh wow, I'm being perceived as someone who is always so positive, which is something that I feel like I work on every moment of my life and that I play on every moment of my life. I see that it's this constant beautiful thing. Just like moving balance. It's this mindset balance of choice. If my body's off balance, I might say, oh, tuck on that side, lengthen that side, lift that shoulder. And with the feeling and the mindset, it might be, hey, you're looking at this from a judgmental place. What if you were this? Like rethinking, resetting, reevaluating, recalibrating, retuning. Who am I being as I'm feeling this? And am I being who I want to be? That's a lot, huh?
You have a lot to share. It's good. I'm going to give you your lane and share. Yes, like Nancy says here, my childhood was great. There was a lot of sadness, though. My parents were highly sensitive, too, especially my dad. We pick up on so much from our teachers, our preachers, our parents, and we are greatly affected. But I think anyone listening to a conversation like this has been in the personal development and most likely the energy conversation for quite a while. So you've been exposed to a lot of books, a lot of concepts, a lot of teachers, gurus, different things, because you've been working on yourself. And one thing that we realized on the journey of personal development is that there's a way to, excuse me, need a little water. There's a way to think, and Sabrina used the word feel, thinking and feeling, I'm going to use the word deeper, in a deeper capacity than your intellectual, cognitive mind alone. So how many of us have read the positive psychology books? We've done the affirmations. We've gone to the seminars to try to upgrade our thinking and our mindset, all too uncomfortably to find that only lasted for a certain amount of time, and we found ourselves back in the same old looping thoughts. There's a concept, I believe it's known as a psychocybernetic mechanism, and it has to do with like an internal thermostat or a mindset. that you have a program, just like on your thermostat of your wall for your temperature in your house. And let's say it's programmed to 70 degrees. You can override it and get it to go up to, let's say it's cold, you want it warmer, get it up to 80. But that program's going to pull that temperature at some point, based on the programming time schedule, back down to 70. Well, that's what happens with humans. There's a set point that pulls us back, but we can change that set point forever.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. And what I found is there's a set point behind that 70 set point, and it's called perfect weather. It's perfect weather set point. It's San Diego. No, it's somewhere where the weather's perfect. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have contrast and days when you get sweaty and days when you get a little cold, but the program pulls you back to perfect.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about God mode. We're talking about divine connection. We're
Maybe
talking about
positive being versus positive thinking.
being. So, of course, we love tools here like meditation, moving meditation, qigong, prayer, anything that can get you out of your head and back into your heart. And that we like to call this the brain of your being. When you tap back into that, it's almost like you start thinking with your heart. Remember, I always say, Grandma says, listen to your heart, trust your heart. There's a wisdom, there's a knowing within that unfortunately we lose connection to. It gets layered on top of with programming, with thinking, with distractions, with the story, the identity that we start believing we are. But what if we can break through that and change that thermostat set point back to this perfect place? And I believe that we can. And then there's no more positive thinking needed, as you said. It becomes a state of positive being. And I think that
And
that's
it's-
why
and it's not a set
you in
point.
particular,
pointing at
I'm
me.
pointing at you. Hi, Mark Roche. Good to see you there, buddy. You in particular, we always say you reframe at the speed of God. I think you're very quick to come back to the thermostat setting in your being. That's the perfect temperature.
And
And
the key question would be to ask me why.
Why, or how do you calibrate to that?
I'll tell you why.
Tell us. Share. Speak.
It's too painful not to.
It's too uncomfortable. Too much sweat.
It's too the more you spend time in the being of positivity and just doing your part to see the world from that place, to experience the world from that place, to feel that only good things happen to you, that everything is a blessing, even if you don't understand it right now, that you are so loved by the world and everything coming to you is to help you grow and love and expand more. And then that becomes more of the set point, more and more and more. Things outside of that are more painful. More painful. The hurt is bigger. The judgment feels even more horrible. The depression is heavier. So it almost feels like the shadow of the whip. I'm like, oh, no, right? And to come back to it, because we get used to feeling a certain way. I'm going to bring up another analogy.
Okay. Mark says hi.
I
He
love
misses us.
Mark. Miss you too, Mark.
Mark's one of our students and dear friend from back in our physical dojo days.
Right down the road.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up this. So when the sisters were here, back to the story, we did a lot of singing. And it was sweet because my dad, who has a little bit of memory issues, when we would sing the songs that they would sing growing up in church, the sisters would, I call it, everything's a performance, right? They would perform in church. I guess you call it perform. They would sing in church. They would sing at weddings. They would sing probably at funerals. They harmonize. They harmonize beautifully. And so that word harmonizing, we were talking today about, we're in a lot of business situations. You know, all of us encounter different people as we move through our day, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's face-to-face. And in a conversation, that is a type of harmony. And seeing, like, it is a choice, right? To harmonize, like the sisters, they harmonize so beautifully together. And then you might come across someone and it's like, oh, it doesn't feel in tune. It doesn't feel like harmony. So there's a couple of things that can happen in that moment. Well, if it's somebody who is singing a beautiful note, I can use that as a reflection. Like, well, that's beautiful, the energy that's coming from them. Why don't I feel good about it? Maybe I need to adjust. Or they seem to be in a negative place. Am I going to move to a negative place so that it feels harmonious? I think a lot of us do that.
Feel comfortable.
To feel comfortable. Or do I stay where I am and invite them to harmonize? And this is all so under the radar. So I was thinking about that word harmonize, and choir, there was usually someone carried the melody, and then you had people harmonizing above and below. I thought, it's really up to me to sing my melody, that I'm responsible for the melody always. And if my melody harmonizes with someone else's, that's great. Or if someone is inspiring me, like as a mentor, then I got to sing my melody in harmony with maybe their melody. But to not shift where I am to fit in. Because that felt, I just had flashes of so many situations when we were first starting the business and we had to go to a lot of these masterminds. And for some reason, I felt so out of place. I would hide in the bathroom so much. Every time they would say, get together in a small group, I ran to the bathroom. I would just say, I'm just going to stay in the hotel room. I felt so uncomfortable, so not good enough, so not educated in the same way that they were, because I felt like I had to fit in. And now I know that I can be in any situation. It doesn't matter what I know or don't know. I can just be there as me. And it's just so completely different now from a maturity, not a maturity of the business, but as a maturity of the being.
Key word, being. So when you notice yourself during the day getting frumpy, grumpy, snippy, moody, and anything else that ends in Y that you don't like, you got to be able to catch it. And you got to be grateful for it.
Itchy.
Bitchy. And here's what I mean by be grateful for it. It's actually a guidance. It's a friend inside saying, hey, dude, heading down the wrong path here. Hey, buddy, why are you getting all aggro?
Yep.
It's not good for your health. It's not good for your wealth. It's not good for the partnership. Whatever it is, it ain't good. And it's just there to remind you. Sort of like, I don't know, martial arts days when you're sparring, you start taking some shots. You're getting hit and kicked. You're like, whoa, wake up. Too close, too far away. Change the distance, change the tactic. Something's missing here. So use discomfort as a beautiful tool to remember, hey, let me shift my state right now. So what can you do when you start to notice you're not in what, we said positive thinking. You're not in a positive state. What can you do? You push through it and bulldozer through it and just see if you can chug another coffee and, get aggressive and fix it. Or maybe get up, move your body.
Move your body, pet your dog, go outside.
So I'm going to go on the body thing for a second. Since we're talking about positive thoughts, it is very difficult to think a positive thought when your body doesn't feel good, when your body is stagnant, when you're not hydrated enough, when your body is disrupted, right? Because you're not taking care of it. You're not giving it the nutrition it needs or the movement it needs. What happens is when you're in a stressful state, day after day after day, you have negative thoughts and you're looping, those thoughts release chemicals that go into your body and they get saturated into your tissues. Not only that, stress disrupts your energy system. So you have physical issue in your tissue and you have energetic disruption. So the great secret here, y'all, move your body.
Yep.
It's not enough, but start there. Because everyone who goes to the gym, who didn't want to go to the gym, but they went anyway because they had enough discipline, and they did the machines, and they did the bike, and they did the thingy, and they leave and they go, I feel so much better. Why? Because they got a temporary relief of the discomfort that they were feeling in their body, and it changed their state. It affected their mood. So you actually feel better after you move your body.
Yep.
But then
That's why they say walk it off.
walk it off, shake it off,
Go for a
change,
walk.
get out of the room, get out of the space, do something different. But what if that became a practice? That it wasn't a escape technique or a de-stress technique or a I gotta quickly go and work out or whatever because I'm in a bad place. What if that became a sacred ritual where you love yourself enough and you know that if I can get this body temple, no matter what level of movement you can do right now, get that breath going, hydrate, move, stretch those tissues, do what you can do, and then start to notice how your mood shifts. Your thoughts will upgrade. Have you noticed? You know. She's so happy after she dances around for an hour. She's like,
It's so funny you call it dance around.
well, you should see what it looks like. It's like a little Energizer bunny dances around in the front room, screams and shouts and hollers to usually loud Latin music. It's pretty cool. And then she's like that, laughing and giggling and smiling, and she's super focused. And she comes in and she's this taskmaster. I'm like, well, I got to get out of here. She's going to give me stuff to do.
I know, he was saying some things. I'm like, oh no, the taskmaster is unleashed.
But it gives you focus. It gives you clarity. It gives you drive. And it also can bring joy, right? But the last part about that is if you don't do it on a regular basis, then the old stuff comes back. So to change your thermostat, move through your body, notice your mood shift, and then listen. Listen to your inner being. Take a moment to sit down and be quiet and just meditate and honor the true identity, not the positive. I got to show you one more thing. Don't do this, although this is funny. Do the meditation over this. Here we go.
I deserve good things. I am entitled to my share of happiness. I refuse to beat myself up. I am an attractive person. I am fun to be with.
Daily Affirmation with Stuart Smalley. Stuart Smalley is a caring...
Okay, that's enough. Do you guys remember him from Saturday Night Live? That doesn't work, and they made a spoof on it because it was so funny, right? So go into the brain of your being and listen, and then you won't have an affirmation. We call them confirmations. You'll have a knowing.
Yeah.
I am good enough. I am smart enough, and gosh darn it, I love me. But it'll be genuine.
From positive thinking to positive being.
Exactly.
So I thought of this analogy earlier today, this thing I was taught in ballroom dancing, ballroom meaning like waltz, tango, foxtrot, quick step, not the Latin dancing. And there is a leader and a follower. So for the sake of this conversation, I'll just say the man is the leader and the woman was often the follower. So the leader is the forward moving person, right? So they can see where they're going. Where the follower, that I played that role, I was moving backwards. So I didn't know if we were going to run into anything or what anybody was doing. So in this leading and following dance situation, there was a set choreography-ish, but the leader could change anything at any moment because there were other couples flying around the room or for whatever reason. And when two people are physically connected in the torso, someone has to make the decisions and someone has to follow or it'll fall apart. So when I became a wedding dance coach and I was coaching a lot of couples who didn't have a lot of dance training, and it seemed like usually the men had less than the women, right? And all of a sudden the men have to lead and these men have to hear the music. They're supposed to remember the choreography and they're supposed to do the dance and they're supposed to hear the beat and do it on beat. And then they're with a partner who is supposed to follow that knew they were off beat and then was trying to change the beat. And I actually had to teach the followers, your role as the follower is that on your wedding dance, if he goes on the wrong foot, so do you. It's the only way to make it work. If he's off beat, he is the beat. He is the beat. You don't have a beat other than the leader. And it was really making me laugh because I can see where sometimes I have played the follower to leaders who actually don't have true vision and don't have true sight. I was the one that had the vision. I am the leader. And I saw that in my life, it's so important that I am the leader of my life because I I'm the one with the vision of who I want to be and what I want to feel, only and always. And no one has to follow that unless they also have that same vision. And then I thought, but you know what's even more beautiful? What if I follow the knowing inside of me? What if I just become a complete follower of the intuition and the love and the light, whatever name you want to give it, and the God guidance that has way better vision than me, that can see more than I can see and wants to lead me exactly where I want to go. And what if I dance to that rhythm, that can hear nuances in the music that are beyond my physical ears to hear? But by following, I can hear that. And what if they can see vision that my physical eyes can't see, and they can take me there, and they can help me to feel nuances and emotions that I couldn't feel dancing alone without following that knowing inside. And I said, oh gosh, what a beautiful thing to say, I only follow love. I only follow love, and I am the leader of my life, following love. That both can happen at the same time. It is this co-creative process that's such a beautiful part of the human experience, that we are given free choice to do anything we want to do. You know, you're allowed to think anything you want to think, and you're allowed to feel anything you want to be. You're allowed to be as miserable as you want. That's the gift we're given. We can be as miserable as we want. And the other gift is we can be as grateful as we want. And we can see what looks good in a situation, and we can see what's a bummer in it. And we can see both, and then we get to choose what we feel. You know, it's such a rich life. It's such a rich blessing to accept that responsibility to become a positive being, moment by moment and choice by choice by choice, like little beads. You're building this necklace of your life. No one's always positive and no one's always negative. It's just these moment choices that we make.
Well spoken. Oh, beautiful Sabrina.
Oh yeah, I rehearsed it and stuff.
I'll ask Sabrina, remember that thing you said? Nope.
I have no clue ever what I said.
Called streaming. You guys are so beautiful here tonight, joining in with us, laughing along. Stuart Smalley's a crack up, that's for sure. Yes, thank you for the love. Oh, and Tracy, I saw you pop in there. Wanted to congratulate you. I saw that you earned your blue belt last month from your martial art teacher. Congratulations.
And Bonnie Clack, much love to your daughter. I know she's been going through some things physically.
Much love to all this beautiful Satori community. We so appreciate you guys coming to play on Thursdays. We are not going anywhere tonight. We're going to watch a movie.
Oh, sit on the couch.
Sit on the couch and watch a movie.
It's glorious.
Maybe we'll watch Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. All right, everyone. Thank you for being part of our lives. Thank you for joining the show today.
And thank you to the sisters.
That's right.
And the uncles.
And we're going to dance it out. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
Gosh
and
darn it, people like me.
Love you guys. Bye.